Okay, so it is 7 o'clock. I'm getting ready to start this webinar. I'm going to give it maybe like a minute or two just to get warmed up. It's been a long day for me, so I would say that this is probably going to be a 30-minute to 45-minute webinar just talking about self-love, building self-love, and how to get started with my 3 simple steps. I am most likely going to go ahead and post this on YouTube when I'm finished, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, and now it's 7:01, so let's just go straight into the webinar. Hey guys, I'm Shauna from Delightful Struggles. I also have a podcast over at Adulting with Shauna, and you can all find that at delightfulstruggles.com. I am here to talk about self-love and building self-love and all of that good stuff. So let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and screen share with you guys so you can see this webinar and what it looks like. All right. Let me get you guys the screen first. So I'm not sure why. Well, let's go back to the beginning. Okay, so we're gonna share the screen. I would love it if my little thing went away down here, but there we go. Oh, wait. Now you can't see the screen. I have to share it first. Oh, wait, technical difficulties. Okay. All right. Okay, so I hope that everybody can see the webinar. I think I did that right. Oh my goodness, I'm having so much technical difficulty tonight. Okay. All right. So let me know if you're able to see. Looks like we can. Okay, so this is the Building Self-Love webinar. It's a free webinar by myself, Shauna Allen, and we're just going to get started. My name is Shauna. I'm a life coach, a blogger, a podcaster, and in the real world, I'm a professional survivalist. I'm also a mental health counselor by day as well, and I blog over at delightfulstruggles.com. And so what we're going to cover tonight is talking about self-love. What is it? Why do we need it? And the 3 easy steps that you can use to start building your self-love strategy today. And in the end, I'll take any questions and provide some answers if you have any. And then we'll just kind of keep it going from there. What you're going to need to get through this webinar is a quiet space, a pen and a pencil, and a notebook if you want to take notes. And I would try and stay free from any distractions. That's the best way to optimize this webinar. You can use you might want to take off the TV, put your phone on silent, or I don't always put my phone on silent. I like to just put it on vibrate so that if I lose it, I could at least hear it vibrating. Tonight's agenda is to help you get engaged in your own self-love journey. And then while you're engaged, to help you maximize your personal love tank and begin the healing process. And then lastly, it's to help you get to feel good about yourself. Before we're going to do all that, we're going to talk a little bit about me. As I mentioned before, I'm a mental health counselor by day, so I work with people all the time in a professional standpoint to help them build acceptance, love, confidence, awareness, all of those good things, especially while working past depression, anxiety, post-traumatic stress, and that kind of stuff. I am also a full-time blogger, so I work all day long. I work my 8 to 5, come home, and then blog until I go to sleep. I'm a wife. I'm a mom to a cute little pup who's over here munching on some food. And I'm also a life coach, certified through education. And I do so much more. I do a bunch of little things from DIY and crafty stuff and all of that to kind of help build my confidence in myself. But I will say that it took me some time to get to that point, and it took me some time to be content with my life and be content with who I am. And it started with acceptance and self-love. And so part of that is a story from when I was younger. This is before I met my husband. I found myself engaging in like really messy relationships and just doing things that I thought were really bold and out of the box, but it was really just me trying to show that I had all this confidence or try to show that I was a badass when really I was just like this very sensitive chick who didn't want to be hurt or who didn't want to be rejected. And so after a series of dating and terrible relationships, I had to take a step back and I had to check myself and I had to figure out what I was doing wrong and what I could be doing better. And I started to date myself. That's what I call it. I was going out and I was doing things on my own by myself. And I was doing a lot of things that required knowledge about who I was, a lot of self-discovery at the time. I was also in school to get my master's degree, and even the journey to getting my master's degree helped to fill in those gaps and helped me to learn who I was as a woman and a young adult. So I want to share that with you guys. And that's why I came up with this whole self-love challenge and this whole self-love journey. But in order to put all of that together, we have to learn what self-love is. And so self-love is getting to know who you are and accepting the things that you cannot change, but also having the courage to address what you can change. It's in moderation. It is not narcissistic. And I would say that having self-love and having acceptance about yourself is a good thing, especially when it comes to adulthood, because it's like having that sense of pride and knowing that, you know, you are always on a personal brand. Like you are always doing what you think is best for you without putting down others or without stepping upon or infringing upon other people's journey and process. So I explained a little bit with my story. I have had a history of messy relationships. I had to do some soul searching and looking within to figure out what I wanted and if I was going down the right path. And then in that soul searching and looking within myself, I found that I had a lack of self-confidence. And that lack of self-confidence caused me to make really poor decisions and really poor choices that I thought were bold, but in a sense were in poor taste. Like I would say there was like a lot of hypersexuality or dressing really raunchy or, you know, going out and just doing things that were not healthy for me. But I thought that that was what other people wanted. And I had not looked within myself to find what I needed and what I wanted. So I went on this journey, and that's what self-love is all about. It's like going on this journey and finding yourself and finding who you are and building up who you are and being okay with that person, being okay with the person that stares back at you in the mirror and being okay with the choices that you make because you know that you're making them for your best interest. And I also would like to say that I find that self love is the first part to building healthy relationships. Because when you are comfortable with yourself and with you, when you know who you are, it's so much easier to relate that to other people and to explain that to other people. And when you're making healthy choices for yourself, you no longer allow for other people to kind of walk all over you, and you no longer allow for other people to kind of take over what you know is right for yourself. So, step one of building self love is learning to be kind to yourself. You want to learn that you can't do bad things to your body and expect for it to recuperate. We're not that kind of species. We don't regenerate limbs if we lose one. It's just gone forever. We don't regenerate livers. If we don't take care of our liver, it gets unhealthy and we could suffer for that. So we have to learn to be kind to our bodies and to be kind to ourselves and be kind to our self-image. One of the major things that I had to learn is being kinder to me. And I learned those things through lasting routines to help take care of myself, saying positive things to myself, and then also thinking positive thoughts. I don't think we realize how many poor messages we send to ourselves daily. It could even be like things as simple as, I woke up late today, I'm going to be late to work, I'm not a good employee. Or it could be things like, I don't do this right, or I don't do this well. I think that many people say bad things to themselves over and over and over again, and it just becomes like this habit, this ruminating habit of you're just giving yourself bad messages. And we fail to realize that those bad messages, the more that we say them, the more that we believe them. So you want to change those thoughts and switch them around and make them more positive, because the more positive things you say, the more positive things you're going to believe. The more positive things you believe, the more that you put out this vibe. And that vibe is very inviting because people are attracted to positivity. They're attracted to openness. They're attracted to laughter. People are not attracted to sadness. That is scary for them. Misery loves company. Sadness spreads. So think about that. Think about the things that you tell yourself in your mind. I'm wondering, how many times do you find yourself saying negative things to you in your mind? So I have a little formula. I teach this all. It's one of the formulas. It's so helpful. And I mean, I teach this to even little kids. It is great. I call it the thinking, feeling, doing triangle. And this is actually a part of a therapy sequence that we teach all the time, but I take it out of that context and I reteach it to just about everybody I see. I even use this for myself. So this model says that what you think affects how you feel, and how you feel affects what you do. And it's a cycle. So you think something, you feel it, and then you end up doing something as a result of those feelings. So for example, let's just say you start thinking to yourself, I really suck when it comes to cooking. I'm a terrible cook. And when you think that to yourself, let's say you wanted to have a romantic dinner with somebody and you were going to plan an outing and all of that other stuff, and then you realize, oh my God, I'm a terrible cook. So you're saying to yourself, I'm a terrible cook. When you say that, automatically you start to feel bad about yourself and you start to lose self-confidence, and maybe you feel sad, or maybe you feel unworthy, or even hopelessness. Then those feelings, in turn, maybe they cause you to cancel that date that you had, or maybe they cause you to do something like isolate yourself or not want to be around other people. Or maybe you start to turn away other people that you think are that can cook because you have a little bit of envy or jealousy in there. So then when you do those things, it reinforces that negative thought. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. So you think something, then you feel it, then you do it, and that action reinforces that thought. So then you go back to thinking it all over again. Then you feel it, then you do it, and then you go back to thinking. So if you just change the thought, then the feeling is different. So think I'm a terrible cook, but I'm willing to learn. Then you feel kind of hopeful. Maybe you feel a little excited because you're willing to learn, and that could be an adventure. That could be a really fun date. We're going on a cooking date together. I suck as a cook, but now I'm learning. Oh my goodness, this is so exciting. Now that you're excited, and you're feeling a little bit more happy, and you're feeling hopeful, then you go out and you do all sorts of stuff. You have more confidence. Maybe you call that person up and you set that date up tonight, or you take more pictures of it and you share with your friends. Look at this really fun thing that I'm doing, blah, 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 blah. And then when you reinforce that, you get a lot of positive feedback from that. You end up thinking more like that because you've gotten reinforced. So then it goes back to more positive thoughts. Maybe you do more adventurous things. Then you have more happy feelings. And then you end up doing more happy things. And then we're right back to the top of that triangle when we think things. So this is kind of like the self-fulfilling prophecy, and it's so easy to change. All you have to do is change those thoughts. And once you change the thoughts, you start to feel differently. I'm going to take a pause for a moment and give you guys a chance to go ahead and try this for yourself. So I'm going to exit and see what we've all got going on. If you guys have any questions about it, we can talk about it, because I think this is a really easy concept. It's a lot of fun. Let's see if there's any questions about it, or if you would like to try it, if I can find it. Huh. Okay. So it looks like there's not any questions right now. Are we ready to get back? All right, let's get back to it. Oops, I'm not the little thingy thing. Okay. So we're going to keep going. Step 2, after we've changed the way that we talk to ourselves, we've readdressed that, we're a lot nicer to ourselves, then we begin to own who we are. And that's what step 2 is all about, is that now that you're much nicer to yourself, you've learned a little bit about yourself, and now you're going to take ownership of that. And you're going to take responsibility for who you are. And in this step, you realize that there is no such thing as perfection. You make mistakes and you are who you are, and it's okay. You accept that and you keep going. So in this step, you're doing things like you're looking into the mirror and you're trying to figure out who looks back at you, and you like the things or the things that you see, or you like the person that's looking back at you. I also found myself creating a personal brand, and I really tried to figure out what my values and my morals were when I went through this step. A big thing for me was figuring out what made me different from my parents. Because a lot of our values and morals we get from our upbringing, we get from our families. And there's things that are very different about me than my parents. My parents were hard workers and they worked 9-to-5 jobs, and they're very type A personality. So there's a bunch of steps for them and they have to follow those steps very accurately. And for me, it's a lot different. I'm a lot more loose. I'm still a hard worker. I still went to school, got an education, all of those good stuff. I still work my 9 to 5, but I'm really a lot more laid back. I'm like, if I can take a vacation, I can take a vacation. My parents are like, no, you only take a vacation once per year, and that's 2 weeks and 2 weeks only. And I'm like, well, if I could go to the mountains and then maybe later on in the year go to the beach, I'm going to do that. So we look at things very differently and we value things differently. We're both hard workers, but I value experience more than they do. So when we are building our personal brand, we kind of accept all of those things. We accept that it's not better or worse, it's just different. And there are going to be things that are different for you than they are for the next person, but those are the things that make you you and that help you to survive through that moment. And you also take a look at the things that you can change and that you can do differently. A lot of times I would say that I did not realize, and many people do not realize, how the things that they do help them to survive, but can also be very poisonous to them. So I had to learn to do things different. I had to learn to not put myself out there as much as I was and to present myself differently. I had to learn how sometimes my attitude were attracting the wrong person for me, and learn to switch that and change that. I even had to learn, and this came very recently for me, I had to learn how what I was putting out there emotionally was affecting other people. And I had to step out of that and do something different and learn to let different things go. So for you, when you're going through this process, there is a lot of ups and downs. There's a lot of ebbs and flows. And you're going to challenge yourself to do things in a different way than you normally do them. And if it doesn't work for you when you've done it differently, then that's okay. That's fine. At least you've tried something different. But what if it does work for you and you've done something differently? Now you've got this new tool to put in your toolbox. And the very last step is filling your life with experiences. You're living more, you're going out there, you're doing more. You're trying to exercise more, you're planning random outings, you learn new skills, and you just try to be in the moment. One of the things that I teach to all of my clients, coaching clients and counseling clients alike, is that how much our movement is connected to the way that we feel. The more that you get out and that you exercise or you dance or that you move, the more you feel good, because our body releases endorphins, and endorphins is a happy hormone. It also kind of like facilitates all sorts of other hormones in our brains, and it just tells us to feel good. So exercise is like a big thing if you already feel down about yourself. It also helps to boost our self-confidence, because the more we exercise, the more we kind of take a look at our body image. Planning random outings, this is definitely for the people who enjoy experiences but haven't really explored around them yet. Learning new skills is big, because when you first start your journey, you're just kind of like, I don't know what I can do. Like, I don't know what about me is special. And then you learn new things. You may not even know that you're a painter until you actually take a paintbrush and put it to paper. You may not even know that you're a writer until you actually start writing. But just the experience of learning new skills and honing those skills and realizing that you have skills that other people don't is such an invigorating experience, because now you have something to put out there to the world, which is very cool. And being in the moment, just accepting life for what it is and enjoying the moment right now. Like, instead of taking selfies, you're just like taking it all in. You're taking a deep breath and you're smelling the ocean, or you're enjoying the air that's around you. And at the end, so you've taken these 3 steps, you've experienced things, you've been kind to yourself, and you've kind of built up about yourself. You're going to reflect on the process, and then you're going to repeat it. And you're going to do it. So you go through the 3 steps, you reflect, you repeat. You go through the 3 steps, you reflect, you repeat. So you're looking back on your journey to see where you've come from. You're taking a look like over the past 3 months, I did these 3 things. This was really great. This wasn't so great. And you're just tracking your journey and your growth. Then you, in that reflecting, you change what you have to change and then repeat whatever you can. You focus on the process, not the outcome. So the process is enjoying who you are, being in that moment. You focus on those things. You're not focusing on, oh, I'm doing all of this, I need to be here. It's not a matter of getting from point A to point B, but really more enjoying that journey from point A to point B. You praise yourself and you reward yourself for looking into who you are and accepting who you are. So you reinforce those good things that you're doing along the way. Like, you're going out and you're taking an extra paint class, or you're sitting down and you're journaling, and you're just, reminding yourself of the good person that you already are. So this is really, really simple. And I do a little bit of this in a 14-day challenge. Some of you may already be a part of the self-love challenge, but it's designed to help you build self-love and value in your life. And in the self-love challenge, there's daily challenges via email to facilitate soul searching. There's some extra activities, printables, and resources. There's some extra engagement on social media through hashtags, and there will be some Insta challenges. And you have access to myself for any questions as you need them to be answered. So if you haven't already, definitely go to Delightful Struggles, sign up for the Self-Love Challenge. Today was only day 1, so you'll get access to the challenge instantly. It's a 14-day challenge with daily emails, and I will have access to myself. And once you are signed up for that, you'll be signed up to the Delightful Struggles email subscriber list, and so you'll have access to the resource library, which has extra resources and little motivational tidbits and things like that. So we are at the very end, and this is where I'm going to take any questions if you have any. And at this point in time, I want you to share, what ways do you plan on building your self-love? So let's go back here. I'm going to stop sharing, see if there's any questions. If we do have questions, I'll answer them. If not, we'll call it a day. All right. So is there any questions about the, okay. So is there any questions about the self-love challenge that you may have that you've answered right now, or anything like that? Okay, so it looks like there's no questions that I can see. And so that brings us to the end of the webinar. We went pretty quick tonight, which is okay. If you are already part of the challenge, I guess I will see you in the emails. If not, I will catch you guys at another time. I hope that we've had a great evening, and I will see you guys next time. Bye now.